that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But he putting shit down.
Dude hits hard.
Joe Rogan has responded to Anthony Joshua's intense new training routine for the rumored Jake Paul fight, and his reaction says everything you need to know. After reviewing leaked clips of Joshua unleashing explosive combinations and training with top-tier coaches, Rogan described the former heavyweight champion as terrifying and warned that Jake Paul may have finally stepped into a challenge he can't talk his way out of. With Joshua appearing sharper, faster, and more focused than he has in years, Rogan believes this matchup could end violently and very quickly if Paul actually goes through with it. The Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua showdown is scheduled as a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight fight under official Queensberry rules. The bout will consist of 8 3-minute rounds, and both fighters will use 10-ounce gloves. The biggest condition is that Joshua not weigh more than 245 pounds, a cap designed to keep the matchup at least somewhat
bout. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds, and people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Win or lose, the outcome will be recorded on both fighters' official professional records. This isn't an exhibition, it's a legitimate, high-stakes fight. Nisa Badarian, CEO of Most Valuable Promotions and one of Jake Paul's lead promoters, told Sky Sports that the December 19th event is a massive global spectacle. He acknowledged Joshua's superior experience but said Paul's fearless, and some would argue delusional, confidence could be the deciding factor. Badarian described the fight as a symbolic clash of generations and cultures within the sport, noting that negotiations were rushed to make the matchup happen. He also confirmed that strict weight limits and full professional rules were put in place to ensure a serious, competitive atmosphere. Badarian insists this fight is far less of a mismatch than Joshua's bout with Francis Ngannou. While Ngannou was a physical monster, his limited boxing experience made that—
Will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
That fight significantly more one-sided. In contrast, Badarian argues that Jake Paul has advanced rapidly, improving his technique, composure, and ring IQ to a level that makes the Joshua fight more competitive than most people assume. Still, many boxing experts argue that Paul is walking into extreme danger.
100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad. But Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's going to be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Okolie has warned that Joshua's size, power, and physical dominance make this matchup incredibly risky for Paul. Two-time world champion David Benavidez has gone even further, saying Paul is heading straight into a trap because Joshua's elite experience is worlds beyond anything Paul has encountered.
We've got to consider, is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, you know, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake Paul.
Carl Froch has openly criticized Joshua for taking the fight, suggesting AJ is essentially cashing out. Froch argues that Joshua, already financially secure and a former champion, appears more interested in a giant payday than legacy. With nothing left to prove in traditional boxing, Froch believes Joshua is opting for an easier, high-reward crossover fight instead of pursuing tougher.
He can win? Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
Meaningful challenges. Despite the backlash, a portion of fans genuinely believe Jake Paul can beat Anthony Joshua, and they're betting on his punching power. Paul's knockout history has convinced some supporters that he could land a clean shot strong enough to end the fight. Tyson Fury recently claimed that Paul could knock AJ out, pointing to Paul's increasing size and power.
Judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
As he grows into heavyweight, Paul himself continues to argue that Joshua's chin is suspect and that one perfectly timed punch could finish the job early. Many are labeling this fight a modern David versus Goliath. Jake Paul, a social media-built fighter stepping up from lighter weight competition, arrives as the clear underdog. Anthony Joshua, the towering, seasoned heavyweight with championship credentials, stands as the dominant favorite. Joshua brings size, power, and pedigree, while Paul brings determination, confidence, and the belief that he can shock the world. So, what's your take? Is Anthony Joshua making a smart business move by accepting the Jake Paul fight? Or is he putting his legacy at risk? Share your thoughts below.